So when Pokemon Go, let me start this again. When the pandemic first kicked off, and it was off and popping, Niantic changed things for Pokemon Go because people were not going outside because they were not supposed to. And Pokemon Go was a game where you go around outside and catch Pokemon. So Niantic changed a whole bunch of things about the game to allow people to play at home and make it easier to play. And what's up? And a lot of trainers, as in players, really liked the changes that were made and still use those changes. But Niantic has been like, listen, this is not how you're supposed to play the game. We want you out there in the public. And they're like, trainers are like, yeah, but we like it better like this. So Niantic has now decided that they are pushing changes into Pokemon Go. So whether you like it or not, you're going to have to deal with these changes. They're changing how remote raids work. And basically, it means you're going to have to spend more money to get your remote raid passes. And basically, anything that people liked about remote raids has been almost taken away completely. And trainers are very upset. But Niantic's, the Pokemon Go VP, Ed Wu, talked to Eurogamer, and he's like, listen, this is the way it is, so get used to it. He says, quote, it's a big and meaningful change to a huge part of the game. So as you might imagine, for a change of this magnitude, we've, of course, examined many alternatives after thinking very carefully about this. What we're doing is relatively simple. Generally speaking, the goal is to keep remote raids as part of Pokemon Go, but to do so in a sustainable way. The change is necessary for the long-term health of the overall game and our principles of getting folks outside and exploring the world together. The world has largely moved back outdoors, and remote raid passes have come to dominate the overall experience of playing in a way we never intended. It's become essentially a shortcut to playing the game. We've seen an imbalance because the current price of remote raid passes is matched to the premium battle pass, which is distorting the game economy and making the game unsustainable in the long term. We know this is a big change, and some folks will have a strong reaction to that. We're very empathetic to that reaction, but we really think this is the right thing for the overall long-term health of the game and our desire to make sure it's great for many, many years to come. End quote. There's a lot more in there, but he's like, hey, you guys have had it too good for now. Pandemic's not as bad as it was. Get back out there and play. Or you can keep doing remote raids, but we're going to charge you. It's like something like triple the amount or something like that. The cost of one remote raid pass is now just under what the cost of 3 remote raid passes were. So people are very angry because they're like, we liked playing like this. It made the experience better. We didn't have to go out if we didn't want to, and we were buying the remote raid passes, whatever. And now Niantic's like, you could still buy them. Just give us triple the money.
Damn.
So people very upset. I saw on the front page of Reddit, not logged in Reddit, just front page of regular Reddit. On the front page, a post was about Pokemon Go, and I was like, well, I had fun Pokemon Go, but goodbye. This is the end. People are very upset. Now, is this online bravado, and people are just going to go back to playing the way they used to?
Maybe.
Or are people really going to put their money where their mouth is and really move away from the game?
Not everybody is as strong as an oak as you are, RMC.
I thought you were going to say maybe again, but I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. No, I'll take that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find out. Because again, if you really don't like something and you're very passionate about it, speak with your wallet. That's the only way to make a real impact. Show them that they will not get your money. And yes, it might hurt because a lot of people are not going to speak with their wallets. They're going to talk out of one side of their mouth online and then play the game behind
the other side
doors.
of their mouth.
Yeah. So like I went through this literal thing this week. Dew has known and Mom Brain has known. I've been, no joke.
Dew and I have been not just known, but Dew and I think, have been
living together.
Well, you've been living it, especially. This must have been a tough week.
I have been devastated, and that's not a word that's too strong. Devastated, because I'll try and make this very succinct. I do believe the story relates, so it makes sense to share it. I'll explain it for those who don't know anything about this, and I will try my best to keep it short. in WWE, Vince McMahon has not been controlling storylines or writing storylines for the last 8+ months. WWE was just sold to Endeavor, the parent company that also owns UFC. They are keeping Vince McMahon on. In interviews, Vince said he would not be in the day-to-day creative. Triple H has been involved with that and the one spearheading it. And he has been doing a great job for the last 8 months, like night and day, in my opinion. And attendance, viewership, everything up by 10% at least. On Monday's Raw, which was after this deal was announced, Vince was in town for WrestleMania, and Vince took over Raw, as in he took on creative duties. And it was, no hyperbole, the worst Raw I think I've ever seen. And it was instantly obvious that Vince was in control because it had all his hallmarks of whatever Vince does. And I was devastated because when Vince left
Were
the
there like
company,
strippers there?
no, it was just everything was written poorly. Everything made no sense. The match, the first hour had 1 minute of wrestling. That's not an exaggeration.
Geez.
Literally 1 minute, or under 2 minutes, I should say. It was like a minute something, and a total of 30 minutes in the whole 3-hour show. But that's, a million other problems. And I was devastated because I said, when Vince left and Triple H took over, I knew Triple H was going to do a fantastic job. And he did such a good job, in my opinion. And I was like, if Vince ever comes back, I can't go back to that because I've been waiting for Vince to leave because he lost it. If he came back, I can't do it. He came back on Monday and I was devastated because I was like, not only was that the worst show I've seen of Raw, I'm staying true to my word. I'm not watching. I'm
Not
done.
to mention, he's like always been a gross human being.
Yeah.
But like I like to believe are growing as a society. It's small, it's incremental, but I think a lot of like the turmoil we're seeing is growth. It's just ugly. And like we as people have grown over the years, and like it becomes a lot harder to tolerate him as a person and want to support him as a person.
And that's the other great thing about Triple H, because he's the opposite of that. All LGBTQ and women, like treating women with respect, and like he's so far in the other direction.
A novel idea.
I know,
treating them like wrestlers.
Yeah, like wrestlers and more importantly, people. Yeah. So when Vince was back in control, I was like, this is it. I've watched wrestling every WWE literally every week. I can't do it and I won't do it. I'm not going back to that. So after that, I stopped and I was like, I can't believe something I've done for so long and I'm so passionate about is over. Now, I will still watch AEW because that has nothing to do with it. And I love pro wrestling in general. I didn't watch NXT on Tuesday night because I'm like, I'm out. This isn't just a Raw or a SmackDown thing. This is a WWE thing. So I still haven't watched NXT. But
we played Fortnite and you took off your wrestling belt back bling.
Everything is gone. Yeah, all of it's gone. My John Cena
That's
hand
how you
is
know
gone.
it's real.
Yeah.
My wrestling belt is gone off of Spider-Gwen. Yeah. So everybody, fans' heads online who are really into this were like, please let this be a case of Vince only being in town for Raw and he'll be gone for SmackDown and that'll be it. He's gone. So I was like, oh, please let that be the case, fully believing that not to be the case. Well, against all odds, it was the case. Vince was not there for Raw or SmackDown. He was not controlling SmackDown. Triple H was in control of SmackDown. Michael Cole on commentary made a very specific point when Triple H walked out to be like, here he is, the guy that's running everything. He said that on microphone, which is not anything Michael Cole would ever say. He said it about Triple H. So I read all this online before I watched, and I was like, he's not there. Triple H is in charge. Maybe this Vince thing really was a one-off. And I watched it last night, and I can't tell you how much of a breath of fresh air it was, because it was top to bottom so clearly a Triple H show. The crowd loved every second. Everything, everybody was into it. Everything made sense. I was like, so happy. But now every week it's going to be like, is Vince coming back for Raw on Mondays? I don't know what's going to happen. But as of right now, riding high again. So to relate it to all this, Pokemon Go players, they're like, everything's great. I love these changes. Please don't go back. And Niantic's like, well, we're not going back all the way, but now we're going to twist everything that you like to a degree that you won't like it anymore. So I get these players that are like, I'm out. I'm done. I've played this game for 3+ years, and now you're taking away the way I want to play. So I'm going to stop playing. We will see if fans really mean that or if it's just a bunch of bluster online. If you are passionate about it and you're saying that stuff online, vote with your wallet. Don't play. I know it sucks. I know you love Pokemon Go. I know you love playing the game. I really get it. But if you are really serious about the direction the game is heading and you don't approve of it, the best thing you can do is not play the game and not spend the money on the game. That's the only way to make your voice heard. You just have to be willing to make that sacrifice, knowing that potentially other people aren't going to do that and they're just acting up online. You have to be secure in the decision, knowing that the game is a way that you don't appreciate, understand, or agree with, and that is enough for you to not play it. And I understand
the game is not fun.
For some people, it'll feel like a death of part of your hobbies, a part of your daily routines, a part of who you are and what you do. I get it. You just have to decide if that is strong enough for you to feel better about not being a part of the game overall, or if the decision is horrible, but you're still going to interact with the game in a different way. And I'm not saying whatever you do is wrong. It's your decision personally. What I will say is wrong is you going online and saying, I hate this. This is wrong. I'm never playing again. Nobody should ever play. And then you log off the internet and then you go pick up the game and play it. Don't be that person. Just either go online and say how you really feel or don't go online at all.
May I give a little bit of sage advice?
May you please repeat the sentence?
May you please repeat the word? May I suggest that you say what you mean what you say, and don't say it mean. Thanks.
Very good, Mom Brain. We could all live by those rules in all of our lives, day to day.
Myself included.
Smasher said, yes, that's very true. Smasher says, as someone that played before and a lot during the pandemic, meeting people outside was a lot safer than inside. Remote Pass has really made the experience worse. The difference with seeing people every walk that played to basically 2 to none, and from 30+ people, most raid hours walking, to just a core group of less than 10, often 3 or 4, and raids filled by remote players, sometimes blocking in-person players. Since all can play remotely or invite people to solo raids, this is a very welcome change and it should have happened earlier, in my opinion. Now that people have finished raiding and got all the necessary XL, shiny, or 100% on a lot of Pokemon that were in the pandemic, so free to play makes it harder to catch up on those raids and getting those 296 XL candies. Will be interesting to see how the turnout with this change. Will be interesting to see how the turnout is with this change. And shadow raids starting to happen. It changes communities globally. Yeah, I mean, Niantic's got the information. I don't think this is a case of Niantic being like, we just want more money. I think that it's true. I think how people are playing is fundamentally changed by the game. I just don't know that making those changes and then being like, well, players, you're wrong for liking those changes and we're going back to the way it was. I don't know that. I don't think that's the right decision. I think it means maybe fundamentally you need to change something about the game to make those current players feel still appreciated and welcomed, and also give those who like to get out and about more, make them feel loved and appreciated as well. So maybe not I understand a solution is needed. Maybe they didn't go with the right solution. Time will tell.